So it's definitely spooky season, and I was on kind of like a binge watching videos about some of the Halloween films today. Behind the scenes, reviews, rankings, things like that. I even watched Sean Clark's Horror's Hallowed Grounds episode, which is absolutely phenomenal. But it got me thinking about Halloween 4 quite a bit today, and I just kind of wanted to talk about it. How good is Halloween 4? Now, I've seen a lot of opinions about this film, and I've definitely talked about it in my rankings in the past, but I don't know if I've ever just done a video to genuinely talk about the film, how I really feel. What do I like or dislike about it? Well, let's talk about that today. Now, when I think about Halloween 4, one of the first things that comes to mind is what everybody likes to tell me I'm wrong about. There are different horror films that have amazing intros in it, but people tell me that the best intro of all time, in terms of the Halloween season, in terms of the atmosphere of Halloween, is Halloween 4. You get these amazing shots of this rich farmland. It's fall season, the wind's blowing. You see little skeletons on the side of barns, little ghosts hanging in trees with this glowing orange font, introducing you to all the characters. Yes, there's no doubt in my mind. I do think that Halloween 4 has possibly the best intro of any Halloween film or any other horror movie. I mean, to say when you watch that in a dark room, getting ready to relax and sink your teeth into a movie, it gets you in such the right headspace for a Halloween film. It may be the best of all time. I dare say, even over the original Halloween. I do love the intro to Halloween 4 that much. Obviously, this film comes years after Part 3. It's a big reset with Mustafa wanting to make things right for the fans, bringing back Michael. Now, here's the thing that I love about Halloween 4 that gets talked about way less than the actual opening of the film, with all that great spooky atmosphere with the farmland and everything. That mental hospital. I absolutely love that whacked out little guy working in the prison that has the beady eyes, and he stops that one doctor and says, Jesus ain't got nothing to do with this place. I thought it was like the perfect kind of balance from what we saw in the beginning, because it's kind of humorous, but it's also like, oh, this is where the crazy people are. You even have to be crazy to work here. I thought that was a great touch, and I actually love that scene. I think that's one of the more underrated scenes of Halloween 4. It's just kind of a small bit of relief before we get to the seriousness of seeing this maniacal serial killer, Michael Myers. Now, when we see Michael, it's long gone the days of seeing a small, frail person like Nick Castle playing the character. You see this big, huge man laying in this bed, bandages wrapped all around his face. It's quite the scene. You can tell these people from the hospital are terrified when they see him. They have the pleasure of having to roll him through and putting him on that ambulance and transporting him back to Smith's Grove. Now, this is actually the first time we hear the Halloween theme play, as far as I recall, and what an interesting touch. It's one thing to start the movie out with that, but to finally hear that da-na-na, da-na-na, da-na-da part right there, I actually thought that was a nice touch. Alan Howarth gave the Halloween theme a little bit more of an up-tempo this time, with more of a punching feel, and it gets you amped up even more. In my opinion, if you're watching Halloween 4 up to that point, there's no problem. Now, just like Halloween 2, there's going to be some gore in this film. But I always felt like the Halloween sequels, even 4 and 5 to a certain extent, handled the gore just as well as 2 did. There's a little bit of a style, there's a little bit of a punch in 4 that's more so in that than 2. But even then, the way it looks like Michael shoves his thumb in that one paramedic's face, are you kidding me? That's awesome. Michael is no longer a skinny, frail guy that moves around like a ghost. This is a bad son of a bitch. Now, that's where the difference can come in with the fans. Maybe you prefer that kind of stoic, looks like he's got no body fat, just a slim person walking across the street like you would see in the original Halloween. Or maybe you like to see a guy under that mask that looks like he could really do some damage to you. There's something to me that, whether it be a literal sense or just something else, something primordial, that makes me terrified, where if a Michael walked in a room right now and he looked like George P. Wilbur as opposed to Nick Castle, I'd just be 10 times more freaked out. I love the way Michael looks in 4. Here's something that I never really thought about until fans pointed it out. So we see Michael get his coveralls from that gas station that Dr. Loomis eventually goes to and finds Michael at. Okay, the coveralls make sense. He gets out of his hospital gear and puts that on. Later on, we see Michael get the mask at that little general store and put it on. He was still wearing the bandages, wasn't he? Michael never took off the bandages from his face. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I think if you actually pause the movie right when it goes to him putting on the mask, you can actually still see the bandages. That's just something I never thought about, but imagine that. Doesn't that make the character even freakier? What if you happened to unmask Michael in the film? He would have had the white bandages across his face, making him just as scary. We gotta talk about Dr. Loomis in this movie. Now, the Dr. Loomis we see in 4 is vastly different from the Dr. Loomis we start to see in Halloween 5, but in 4, his reintroduction is perfect. He is that familiar face that we the fans would see going into this film, because of course we have new characters like Jamie Lloyd, Rachel, her older stepsister, and the friends of Rachel. The one conduit, the one thing that connects us from each Halloween film up until this point was Dr. Loomis. Now this time Loomis has some scarring on his face. He obviously survived that blast from the end of Halloween 2, but you can clearly see it's affected him. Funny story is that somebody actually pointed out the makeup on his face looks like an egg, like the yolk is in the middle and then it's kind of like circled around there. Kind of funny, but honestly, what's the big deal? I mean, I don't mind if Dr. Loomis has an egg on his face. The hand being all torn up was a nice touch too. But seeing Loomis being thought of as this crazy old man that nobody believes Michael is really this maniacal person, it can come across as a little hokey, especially after what happened that night, with Michael going to the hospital and killing more people. But in the same sense, I always look at it as maybe the other people around, especially the doctor that was yelling at Loomis saying you need to calm down, doesn't really want to believe that they can have some sort of maniacal serial killer on their hands. Now, when it comes to the Halloween films, visually, there's things from 4 that I think are far superior to the other Halloween films. You remember that shot where Dr. Loomis drives up to that crash where the ambulance went down on that bridge after Michael came to life and killed everybody? Seeing Loomis go into the water, walking up to that ambulance where it's upside down and the blood splattered everywhere. What an image. I mean, it's such a foreboding sense the entire time in that sequence that I'm just like, I don't know how the Halloween franchise gets any better than this. People can talk about the things that are wrong with Halloween 4, albeit the mask, which we'll get into in a second, or maybe the characters not being as likable as some of the previous ones from the first 2 films. I think the best we've ever seen Dr. Loomis is hands down in Halloween 4. He has the best scenes. His just demeanor in 4 is perfect for that movie. His performance completely matches the soundtrack that Alan Howarth did for this film. Now that may seem like not such a big deal, but I think to do that is just damn impressive, and Loomis nails it. When it comes to the series, there's no better performer in the franchise than Donald Pleasence. He is the man. Now, I should also say this. This is what's so interesting about Halloween 4. I'm typically not somebody that loves watching horror films with young kids because I feel like sometimes kid actors cannot be that great. I mean, look at the kid from the Shining miniseries. He makes it very hard to sit through and watch that film. And there's other examples of that, but Danielle Harris absolutely kills it in this film. She's so good, I dare say her performance is even better than Rachel, her older sister in the film. Now, that actress did a good job, don't get me wrong, but it's pretty impressive how good Danielle is in this film. The scene of her running away where all the kids are bullying her in school and you see her run out crying and she's trying to calm herself down. It doesn't come across like she's reading lines. Just an impressive performance all the way around. Not just for a kid, just in general. It's weird to say, but part of me thinks this is Danielle Harris's best Halloween performance. I love her in the Rob Zombie films, but I got zero complaints about her in Halloween 4. Now let's talk about the mask for a second. There's no doubt that this mask looks absolutely nothing like the original Halloween mask. It's so interesting too because if you look at the poster for Halloween 4, the poster is a masterpiece. Talk about another great image for the Halloween series is the Part 4 poster. And that mask looks fairly similar to the mask you would see in the original film. But what the hell is this thing? This mask looks so cheap. Now, you could kind of make sense of that because it looks like it's a mask that was gotten from a Dollar General store. Obviously, this is not a place you would go to get high quality masks. This is just a little general store. And I think you can kind of correlate those two together, but I don't think that was the intention by the filmmakers. I think they just didn't make a really great mask. Now, I've come to love it, but it's one of those things, if fans have problems with it, I can't really argue it. It just is what it is. One of my favorite kills, if you will, from the Halloween franchise has to be when Grady, the boyfriend of Rachel, gets killed on that stairwell. The visual of seeing this beast of a Myers take him, lift him up, where he just begs for his life and even spits out blood that he can't hold in. and then gets choked out is fantastic. I even love seeing Michael drop that gun down the stairwell. He's rendered useless. It's such a great image. I became a horror fan years and years ago in 2009, and I have watched these films religiously for many years. And when it comes to what I think some of the best are, I genuinely think Halloween 4 is one of the best Halloween films. The atmosphere is unmatched in this one from many other horror films in the 80s or even other Halloween films. I also think that Bo Starr's character of Sheriff Meeker is what kind of keeps this whole thing working. You needed somebody to believe Dr. Loomis in this film, otherwise more people were going to die. I always looked at Meeker as a great character. I like to think he saved lives on that Halloween night, believing Loomis. There's a lot I could get into, guys, but I'll stop here. What do you think about Halloween 4? Is it that good, or is it not? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.